Perfect. Right, welcome everybody to your pelvic floor prolapse and Pilates class. So, this class is all about movement. It's going to get your upper body moving and get some strength work, prolapse strength work for your abdominals and your bum. Now, what I want to say first off is if something doesn't feel right, stop. If anything exacerbates any symptoms, stop. I can't see what you're doing with this one, so listen to your body um, just to make sure that nothing gets worse. That's the last thing I want with doing these exercises. If you have any questions afterwards, just let me know, send me a message, and I shall help in any way I can. And at the end of it, I will be talking about the course that I'm starting next week as well, my 8-week pelvic floor Pilates class, which is all prolapse-safe exercises and just expands really. Um, oh, good point. Anyone else hearing an echo? No? Oh, sorry, Sarah, that's really annoying for you. I think everyone else is fine, but you're just getting me in double time. Sorry. Hopefully the recording won't do this. I apologise if the recording is like that. That'll be an absolute pain in the bum. Okay, thanks, Jean. Righty-ho. So if you have any questions during the exercises, obviously I'm going to be doing them, but if you pop them in the chat, I'll answer them afterwards. And then, yeah, we'll chat about my 8-week online pelvic floor Pilates class at the end. So we are going to start in sitting. So if everyone gets onto their mat or wherever you are. Okay, so this is one of my favorite stretches, and you can either do it with your legs crossed, sitting in an actual chair, or this is called a Z legs. Now, I know if we're a little bit sore in hips and knees, this you're probably looking at and going, not a chance. If you can cross your legs, brilliant. And if that's still a bit of a struggle, you can sit on a chair. So I'm going to show it to you in the Z legs. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a breath in, breath out, take one hand, slide it away, and you're going to reach over with the other arm. And then it's just an in breath as you bring it back and up. And then again, so we're doing an out breath, leaning over. And then an in breath as you bring it back. Now, what this stretch is really good at doing is stretching the muscles around your rib cage to let you breathe a lot better. So let's do one more like this. So we're going to lean over, breath out, breath in as you bring it back. Now, this time we're going to lean, bring it over. I want you to imagine you have a torch on your chest bone and you're going to move from your shoulders and rotate here. Bring it back and up. So we're anchoring our pelvis in place, breath out as we lean over. You can do this as an in-breath now as you rotate and then bring it back. Anchoring our pelvis in place means that we're really concentrating on moving those ribs, which is what it's all about. If our ribs are moving, then we're breathing better and we're more likely to use our diaphragm. And think about it being that chest bone that moves. And again, we'll lean, come over, rotate, bring it back and up. Okay, let's swap sides. So again, if you had your legs crossed, cross them the other way and then swap the Zs. If you're sitting in a chair, stay as you are. Do a lovely breath in, breath out, come down and lean over. And as you breath out, in breath, bring it back up and slide. So we're just going straight to the side to start with. And what I'd like you to feel is a stretch happening kind of down here. So breath out as you lean over. And then an in breath as you bring it back. You may get, I'm saying this because mine's just had a lovely click. You may get a few clicks happening in your back. Don't worry too much about them. They're only really a worry if they start to get painful. So now we're going to do the stretch, but we're going to twist using that chest bone. So we're going to come over, lean, and then I want you to rotate from the shoulder. So you're twisting down, bring it back and up. And this is where you find out you've got one stiff side and one fine side. Lean, twist, and bring it back. So we're doing an out breath as we lean. Lean over, rotate, bring it back and up. Let's go for one more here. breath out. Bit of a twist. Bring it back and up. Lovely. All right, we're coming onto hands and knees now and going into, I call this happy cat, angry cat, and there's always a bit of a debate, or it could be cat camel, cat cow, whatever. So, hand and knee position, your knees want to be directly below your hips, don't have your feet touching. Hands wider than shoulder blades and slightly in front. Now, in this position, I don't want you to sag your belly and I don't want you to drop your head. We're going to do this with 2 different breathing patterns because I want you to feel the difference on your ribs. So, to start with, we're going to do an in breath, tuck your bottom under, chin on chest, and then a breath out, sink your tummy down and lift your head up. So we're doing an in breath as we tuck and an out breath as we sink that down. Now, this is the opposite way to we're normally taught how to do this. And the reason we're doing it this way is to get a bit more movement in those ribs and the upper back. So in breath and then an out breath. Now from here, I'd like you to either go into a shell stretch or a puppy pose. So shell stretch, you widen your knees, you sit back onto your heels and you stretch forward with your arms. Or if this is a bit too sore on knees and hips, you do pretty much when you see dogs want to have a play, your bum stays high and you sink yourself down. Now you can do this leaning slightly on a chair as well. Okay, so let's go back into that hand and knee position. And this time we're going to mix the breathing round. So this time I want you to do a breath out as you tuck your bottom under, chin on chest. And then an in breath as you sink your tummy down and lift your head up. So breath out, chin on chest. And then in. And the movement here is all about the rib cage. So really think about that chest bone moving up and down. Breath out here. And then an in breath. Sink that tummy down. Let's do one more. Breath out. And then a breath in. Lovely. And then let's go back into that shell stretch. So either shell stretch wide in the knees, reach forward if this is comfortable. If it's a bit too sore on the knees, stick your bottom up and lean down as if you're a dog wanting to play. Both of these stretches are really nice pelvic floor stretches as well. So just let your tummy go soft and just breathe in this position. Okay, lovely. Right then, moving on, we're going to go and have a lie onto our backs. So we've got a little bit of movement now in our rib cage. Let's get some strengthening stuff going. So head on a little pillow or a towel, and we're just going to set ourselves up. So what I want you to make sure is your feet, knees and hips are all in line. I want you to have a wiggle of that pelvis. So tilt it forwards, tuck it under, find your neutral, whatever that is, but make sure you've got a gap between the lower back and the mat. So a little bit of tension in the tummy. Now, what I don't want you to do is brace. I don't want you to grip everything with all your might, because what that will do is push everything down on that pelvic floor. And if you do have a prolapse, it will push everything down on that prolapse. So we're just after a bit of tension. Now, rib cage. If you're lying and you've got a really big gap underneath you and your ribs are really pointing up, I want you to see if you can soften them slightly. So if you imagine you've got ropes on your ribs and they're just giving you a lift, they're just getting pulled very slightly down to your hip bones. So they just stay nice and soft. Lengthen through the collarbones, lengthen the back of the neck and relax. Right then, so we have a little bit of tension in that tummy. We're going to go into one of my favorite exercises, which is scissors level 1. It's a level 1 exercise, but that does not make it easy. So it's all about keeping that pelvis nice and still. We're going to do a breath in, breath out. One leg comes up into tabletop. So your tabletop position is knee above hip, foot in line with knee. That's the easy part. And we're going to do a breath out as we come down. Keep that pelvis nice and level, a little bit of tension in the tummy. Now, very slowly, we come onto the other side. So the hardest part of this exercise is actually shifting your weight from one side to the other. So that foot transition from one side to the other. Lifting the leg up is relatively easy. So we're going to do a breath out as we come up, and an in breath as we come down. And then really slowly shift the weight from one side to the other. The aim is to keep this pelvis absolutely still, keeping neck and shoulders nice and relaxed. And this is brain. This is your brain needing to get involved now. Keep a bit of tension in the tummy, but don't grip, don't force it, but really slow it down. And if you don't know what your pelvis is up to, put your hands on those hip bones. So breath out as we come up, in as we come back down. Slowly shift the weight. So we're going to do the last one here. And relax. Okay, so if you pop one leg now up into tabletop, so just make sure it's in a tabletop position. On my right side, I like to have floaty feet, which is your feet lift up and you kind of have a little bit of a cheat on that side. And it's always my right side for some reason. So just make sure knee is in line with hip and foot in line with knee, like a tabletop. The leg, so the foot that's still on the mat, we're going to keep it on the mat and we're going to slide it away. So we're just going to start here with a breath in. Your breath out, you're going to slide that leg away. Pause here for your in breath. A little bit of tension in the tummy, but we're not bracing. Breath out as you bring it back. And we're going to go again. So it's a breath out as we straighten. Pause. Breath out as you bring it back. So this leg's not doing anything. Well, it is, but it's not moving. So breath out as you straighten away. Keep your neck and shoulders nice and relaxed. They will want to get involved. It's all about tummy, and it's a little bit of tension in the tummy. You do not want to be bracing with all your might. Breath out as you slide away. Pause for the in. Breath out as you bring it back. Let's do one more. This leg is probably feeling a little bit tired just from being in this position. Pause for the in breath. Breath out as you bring it back. And then let's swap sides, but let's swap sides, keeping that pelvis nice and still. So opposite leg is now in tabletop. Just make sure it's in that tabletop position. Relax neck and shoulders. Keep a little bit of tension in the tummy. Keep in contact with the floor for this one. We're going to do a breath in, breath out, slide that leg away. Pause for your in breath, breath out as you bring it back. So the breathing with Pilates is you breathe out on the effort, which is why we're doing it both ways. So breath out as you lengthen it away. Pause for that in breath. Breath out as you bring it back. And you should feel tummy muscles kicking in. If you don't, poke them. That is my general rule of thumb. If you have no idea if you're working the right muscles, poke them. If they feel hard underneath it, brilliant. Keep your neck and shoulders nice and relaxed. Breath out as you slide that leg away. In as you bring it back. Keep neck and shoulders relaxed. They're probably desperate to get involved. Breath out as you straighten away. Pause for the in. Breath out as you bring it back. I've completely lost count, so we'll do one for luck. Sorry if this is an extra on this side. Breath out as you lengthen. Pause for the in. Breath out as you bring it back. Pop that down. Now what I'd like you to do, just bring one leg up towards you, straighten the other one. So you can either hold it here, or if this is a bit too sore on the hips, just pop it down. Just to give those hips a bit of a stretch after that one. Pop that one down and swap sides. So bring one knee to you, pop the other one away. Okay, so carrying on in that position, but now the tabletop leg's going to do something. So we've got one foot on the mat, the other one in tabletop. Just have a bit of a reset with yourself. Make sure you've got your tabletop position, knees above hip, foot in line with knee. Bit of tension in that tummy, soften the ribs, lengthen through the collarbones, and definitely relax the neck and shoulders. Now this one here, we're going to do, I call this push the button in class, but it's actually called one leg stretch. And I want you to drive your heel forward. I don't want you to do this with nice pointy toes. I want you to think of that heel is pushing that button. We're going to do an in breath, breath out. I want you to push it as if you're switching on a light switch. In breath as you bring it back. Don't lose your tabletop position. So push it away, breath out, Breath in as you bring it back. Keep that knee pointing up towards the ceiling. When you bring it back, make sure that knee is above your hip. We're doing a bit of thigh now, but we're sneakily doing tummy muscles as well. Keep your neck and shoulders nice and relaxed. Breath out, breath in. Really drive that heel away and bring it back. And one more. Good. Pop it down. Again, keep the pelvis nice and level as we come onto the other side. So again, just double check knee above hip, foot in line with knee. We're going to do a breath in, breath out, drive that heel forward. So we don't go low with this one. We don't want it pulling on our back. You should very much feel this in your tummy. Nothing should be happening in neck and shoulders. Nothing should be happening in your lower back. And you don't want to feel any increased pressure in your pelvis either. Breath out as you lengthen away. In as you bring it back. Drive that heel forwards. Keep that knee pointing up towards the ceiling. Relax your neck and shoulders. And let's do one more. Good. And down. Okay, we're going to get your brain involved now, and we're going to do one and then the other. So we're going to have one leg in tabletop, one foot stays on the mat. So just make sure knees above hip, foot in lines with knee. We relax to our neck and shoulders. We've got a little bit of tension in our tummy, but we are not gripping with all our might. So what we're going to do, I always start with the one leg stretch first for some reason. So that's what we're going to do. Tabletop leg, I want you to drive that heel forward, breath out. Breath in as you bring it back. Now we're going to slide the opposite leg away with a breath out. We pause for the breath in, breath out as you bring it back. Have a breath in here, and then we go again. Breath out, drive that leg forward. In breath as you bring it back. Breath out, slide the leg away. Pause for the in, breath out as you bring it back. Relax neck and shoulders. You're probably questioning what on earth we're doing here. What it is doing is really working those lower abdominals, as well as your thighs, as you can probably feel. Right, we're going to do one more. Breath out as you lengthen away. In as you bring it back. Breath out as you straighten that leg. Pause for the in-breath here. Breath out as you bring it back. And pop that leg down. Okay, other side. Let's just have a little check-in. Bit of tension in the tummy. Have we still got that gap between the lower back and the mat? Are we relaxed through our neck and shoulders? Now, our neck and shoulders are the biggest, they just want to get involved. So you're really going to have to fight them and just be like, I don't need my neck and shoulders because I'm using my tummy muscles. But they always like to get involved. So just be really aware. You don't want those shoulders being gripped around your ears. Okay, other side. Knee above hip, foot in line with knee. We'll start with the one leg stretch. So we're going to do a breath in, breath out, stretch that leg away. In breath, bring it back. Other leg now. Breath out as you lengthen away. Pause for the in breath. Breath out. Bring it back. Really important to pause for that in breath. You're probably thinking, I just want to get this over and done with. But if we don't pause and we do an in breath as we bring the leg back, we'll be putting our diaphragm's not going to be working in our favor. So breath out, stretch that one leg away. In breath as you bring it back. Breath out, lengthen that one away. Pause for the in breath. Breath out as you bring it back. Relax the neck and shoulders. Keep thinking, little bit of tension in the tummy, but we shouldn't be gripping with all our might. Breath out. This is our last one. And pop that leg down. If you're comfortable to do so, just bring both of your knees up for a bit of a hug and a little rock side to side. Good. Hopefully, you're very aware of your stomach muscles. So let's pop one leg down, join it with the other. What we're going to do now is just go into some bridges. Now, bridges are a really nice, safe prolapse exercise to do, but it's really easy to cheat with a bridge. I'm going to show you two different types of bridges now. One that I call my fussy Pilates physio bridge. I may do that in a different order. And the other one is just one that's really good at getting your bum working. And that's what we're after. I say it many times, but your pelvic floor is never just your pelvic floor. It needs to have strength and stability from the surrounding muscles in order to function properly, like any other muscles in our body. So now, when it comes to bridges, the towel is, or the pillow, whatever you're using, is optional. Ideally, you don't want to have a towel, but you need to make sure your neck is nice and long. You don't want to have your chin poking up towards the ceiling. So if you feel without a towel or a pillow, you're in this position with that looking to the wall behind you and your chin up towards the ceiling, pop the towel back. You want your neck to be nice and long. What we're going to do with our legs is I want you to take your feet and your knees nice and wide. So your feet need to be wider than your knees and your knees need to be wider than your hips. Bring your heels close to your bum. Now with bridges, there is always a chance of the muscle at the back of the leg going into a bit of spasm. I'll talk you through what we need to do if that happens. Big if, it might not happen. So all we're going to do is we're going to lift our hips up. I want you to imagine your knees are moving to the wall opposite you and you're pushing through your heels. Don't push through your toes. The reason I'm so I was going to say obsessed, but that's not wrong, heavy, is because your heels go directly to your bum, your toes go to your hips, and we really want this bum working. Right then, we are going to do a breath in here, breath out, push through those heels. In breath as you come down, but I do not want you to land on that mat. Hover your bottom and push up again. And come back down. So it's a breath out as we go up, in as we come back down. Now, this is very much a bum exercise, and there are ways to make this harder. We're just going to stay doing this because I want you to feel your bum at the end of this, so we're just going to keep going. Breath out as you go up, in as you come back down. So to make this harder, you can get a weight and pop it on your hips. So these can be 2 cans of beans, bottles of water, hand weights if you've got them, but if you just hold them on your hips, it will make it a heck of a lot harder. Another way to make it harder is get a resistance band above your knees. That also adds to it. So if you don't know if your bum is working, poke it, like really poke it. Get your finger and shove it in there. And you might go, oh, okay. So for me, my left side is notoriously lazy. My right side is like, yeah, let's do it. And my left side is, no, think about it. But it's always been like that. And I don't know why. So I want your bum to ache. Let's do one more because otherwise I'm going to be really mean. Bring it back down and just give it a bit of a hug. Now, normally in my face-to-face classes and actually on my online classes, I don't give you a break. We go straight on to the next one because I want your bum to work. It's really important to have nice, strong bums. Even more important to have nice, strong bums as we get older. So this time, just to talk you through it, we are going to go up into a bridge again, but I only want you to come halfway down and then up again. So it's almost like we're doing pulses. Again, this should not be in lower back and it should not be in hamstring. So this time I'm going to explain to you what we do if you're feeling it in the back of the legs. So make sure feet are wider than knees are wider than hips. Push through those heels, go up as high as you comfortably can for your normal. Come down halfway and go up again. Now, so it's a breath out as we go up, in as you come back down. The reason hamstrings like to get involved is because we are notoriously lazy when it comes to using our bums. And that's why we can also get lower back involvement as well. And what our brain likes to do is cheat. Path of least resistance, let's use our hamstring. So if you are going, oh, heck, my hamstrings are killing me, try squeezing your bum with all your might as you go up. So imagine you've got a 50-pound note between your cheeks. That's pulling your bum cheeks together as we're doing this, as you lift up. And that should get your brain going, oh, you want me to use my bum? Right, okay. It's not going to be a quick fix, but it can help. The more you do it, the sooner your brain will realise you actually have a bum. All right, let's do one more here. And back down. And again, you can still make that harder with a band and getting some weights on you. So that is my go-to bum exercise that I love to do. I give it out all the time because I know it works. I know it gets bums going. Now, the other bridge I told you about, the fussy physio Pilates bridge, that's not how I normally say it. This one is all about a pelvic tilt. So, and with different foot positions. So again, towel is optional. If you feel your chin is poking up towards the ceiling, please pop it back because I don't want your neck and shoulders getting shouty. We're bringing our feet closer together now. So feet, knees and hips are all in line. I want you just to do a little wiggle of that pelvis to make sure you're in your neutral, but you've definitely got a gap between lower back and the mat. We're nice and relaxed through our upper body, our neck and shoulders, and our arms are just down by our sides. So the pelvic tilt side of it, this is the most important part of this bridge. And it might be that all you do today is that tilt and you don't lift up. And that's absolutely fine because this is the most important bit. And if you're a bit stiff around your pelvis and lower back, you might find this tricky. So currently, we've all got a lovely gap between lower back and mat. What I'd like you to do is roll off your tailbone. So you're kind of rolling off your bottom to flatten the small of the back into the mat and then just come off it. So you kind of do rolling your bottom and bring it back. And with that bum roll, I want you to feel your lower abdominals tense up. If you're thinking, oh, I can't feel them, poke them. Every time, just give them a poke and then take it off. And we're just going to do that with a breath out as you roll off your tailbone, tilt in as you come back. We'll just stay here for a bit. And it could be that you start off a bit stiff and then you go, oh, actually, I feel like I'm rolling a bit more now. But this is a bridge that a lot of people think of height rather than technique. So I really want you to keep that in mind. I'm going to talk you through it and I want you just to be really body aware and don't think you've just got to get your bum right up there, which is what a lot of people do. And they just push as high as they can, switch off the tummy, switch off their abdominals and overwork their bum, and overwork their lower back. So I'm hoping everybody has got a lovely tilt. And it's all about the bum tuck. As we go up, so we're going to peel off that tailbone and slowly go up. And what I want you to think about is keeping that bum tuck and your hips stay higher than your ribs the whole time. And I always make a bit of a joke of this because I think if the Pilates police got a hold of me, they'd be like, no, you should tell it like this. But in an ideal world, if everyone's got a really nice loose back, we'd be able to peel ourselves up in a wonderful bridge, segment by segment, and everything would be beautiful. Now, I think there's hardly anybody that can do that. Dancers notoriously can because they're really bendy. But what I want you to really think about is trying to do that at the best of your ability with how stiff you are and how achy you are and everything. So I've talked enough. The first thing we do, I want you to tilt. So roll off that tailbone, flatten the small of the back into the mat. Bring the heels closer towards you. Sorry, I should have said that. And then I want you just to keep that bum tucked as you push through as high as you feel you can go. Keeping that bottom tucked. That's a breath out as you go up. And then the in breath, keep your bum tucked and try and get that upper back down first. And this is where you need to fight your brain because your brain just wants you to flop. Really think about getting that upper back down first. Keep that bottom tucked. And then slowly untuck your bottom. Now, breathing for this in an ideal world is a breath out on the way up and in on the way down. However, if you're taking a while to come down because you're doing it segment by segment, brilliant. Do another breath. I'd rather you get the technique right in terms of the movement than the breathing. So let's roll off that tailbone again. Here's your breath out. We're going to try and peel ourselves up as high as we can go, but keeping that bottom still tucked under. And then breath in as we come back down. Get the upper back down first. Really aim to kind of get that back down first. Keep the bottom tucked under. And then slowly release. So the way down should feel tricky. If it's really easy, you're doing it wrong. So really concentrate. So let's do another one. Breath out as we come up. Keep that bottom tucked under and a breath in as we come back down. Now, just to add a bit more movement in our upper back, we're going to add an arm. One arm at a time. So exactly the same with that bridge. We're going to do that tuck and we're going to peel up. And then our arm is going to move over our head, leave the arm here. And now you're going to get that upper back down first, keeping that bottom nice and tucked under. And then untuck. And bring the arm back. So it's bridge first, keeping that bottom tucked. We then add the arm. So what the arm is doing is it just makes it a little bit harder for us to try and get that upper back down. But what it does is it gets a bit more movement happening, which is what we're all about. And then bring it back. Let's move on to the other arm. So again, tuck. We're going to lift up. Breath out here. Keep that bottom tucked under. Arm over the head. Keep the arm there. And then slowly come back down. Think about that upper back is coming down first. Keep that bottom tucked under. So that so the last thing you do is just roll off that tailbone and then bring the arm back. So tucking under, lift up. Keep that bum tucked over, arm over the head. And then get that upper back down first. And then bring the arm back. And just bring your knees up to your chest. Good. Okay, we're going to come back to lying on our back shortly, but we're just going to do a little bit more bum work lying on our sides. So if you have a cushion, rest your head on a cushion. If, like me, you have a towel, you're just going to roll it up. And from here, I want you to lift your feet up. So we're going to go into clamps level 2. So the setup with this one, your knees are bent in front, your heels are in line with your bottom, and you're lifting your feet up. You're nice and relaxed in your upper body, and that top hip, this is my biggest tip with doing a clam. I want you to rock it forwards. So we don't have hips stacked on top of each other. The Pilates police might come and get me again. However, I don't care if they do, because if you have that hip rocked forward, so if you imagine you've got a light on your hip bone going down towards the floor, you use your bum more. Hips stacked on top of each other, you're more likely to cheat. So, rocking forwards, we're going to do a breath in, breath out, lift that top leg up, and in, breath back down. So how high you lift that knee is all about keeping this pelvis nice and still. And if you've got that hip rock forward, which I really hope you do, you should be feeling this. The best way is like if you imagine you're wearing a pair of jeans, it's below the waistband of the jean and above the back pocket. It's the top of your bottom. Breath out as you come up, in as you come back down. And if you don't know, poke it. Shove your finger in it. Is it going hard under your finger? And last one here. Good. Okay, let's go on to the other side. So you guys can probably just roll over. I shall switch sides so you can see what I'm doing. And not fall out with my headphones. Right, so tuck the towel underneath your arm. Or pillow or whatever you've got, anything to make you comfy. We're floating the feet up. So feet are in line with your bottom. Your knees are bent in front and knees are about 90 degrees. Top hip, remember, rock it forwards. A little light on it, pointing down towards the floor. Keep it there. So we're going to do a breath in, breath out, lift that top knee up. Now, if you're feeling really wobbly, I've got my hand on my hip. You can put your fingertips down onto the mat. We've got a little bit of tension in our tummy as well, just to stabilize our pelvis. It should automatically just kind of switch on a little bit. So breath out as we come up, in as we come back down. Keep neck and shoulders nice and relaxed. This is just your bum. And like I said before, if you don't know what it's doing, poke it, top of your bottom. Give it a poke. And let's do the last one here. So keep the pelvis nice and still and just see how high you can lift that knee and back down. Good. Righty ho. Have a line to your back. We're just going to have a little bum stretch. So we're going to put one foot onto the opposite knee, flop that knee to the side. And what you should feel is a stretch happening on this side. If this feels like the stretch, brilliant. If you're not quite there, grab hold of the other leg. If this is a bit tricky, you can use your towel to hook around that leg, just so that your upper body's nice and relaxed. You don't want to be up in this position when you're doing this stretch, because that's going to put pressure down on that pelvic floor and then put pressure down on that prolapse as well. So staying like this, or as well, you can just put your foot up on a wall. Whichever is easy. There's lots of ways you can do this, but you should be feeling a stretch to this side. This knee is nice and open. Okay, pop that foot down, swap sides, flop it to the side if you can. If that's enough of a stretch, just stay there. If not, reach through and pull up, but just make sure you're relaxed onto the neck and relaxed onto the neck and shoulders, relaxed onto the mat, and your neck and shoulders are relaxed. Okay, fab. Right, we're just going to finish off with a few more movement exercises. Leave you all loosey-goosey. So just again, take your feet and your feet wider than your knees, and your knees wider than your hips. Arms, you want them kind of out to the side if you can. I've got a little sign in the way. This is hiding a little bit of chaos that's just behind it. So I'm going to have one out down the side. All I want you to do is just take your knees over to one side. Here's your breath out. And breath in, bring them back up, and then over to the other side. Oh, and I've got a sofa in the way. There we go. So what you should be feeling is a little bit of a stretch happening and a little bit of a thigh stretch going on as well. So just over to one side. It shouldn't be causing you pain in your lower back. It should feel nice, this one. And you can stay here if you want to. You could stay here for a couple of breaths if it feels quite nice. You don't have to do a quick flit from side to side. But you're just taking knees over to one side and then the other. I quite like this stretch. Which is so I've just gone a bit quiet to enjoy it. And then we'll do one more the other side. Lovely. Right, we're coming onto our sides again. So if you've got a cushion or a towel, I just want you to wedge that between your head and your arm. So and we have hips are stacked on top of each other this time, knees in front. You basically just want to be in quite a comfortable position here. And your top hand is behind your head, your elbows pointing up to the ceiling. This one here is all about movements of your ribs. So what we're going to do is arm openers, but without actually using the full arm. What I found in class, when people use a full arm, they overwork the shoulder and they don't actually use their ribs. So I've kind of taken away the arm so that they do it properly. So we do a breath in, breath out. You're going to move your head as well. Look up to the ceiling and think about that rib cage moving back behind you. And then a breath in as you bring it back. So this is all about the ribs. Keep the pelvis nice and still. Don't let those legs lift up. Breath out here. In breath as you bring it back. So what you'll be feeling, hopefully, is some movement in the ribs, but also a little bit of stretch happening in that chest muscle at the front. No bad thing, because we are notoriously tight in our chest muscles because of the way we live. Too much sitting. We're not designed to sit. We should be still hunter-gatherers trying to find our food with spears. Not just nipping to the supermarket to buy it. So breath out here and bring it back. This exercise is one of my favourite ones to do at the end of the day, because it gets a bit more movement happening in that upper back and rib cage. And maybe one more. I'm getting lost in doing this lovely stretch. And bring it back. Right, let's swap sides. So it's good to do at the end of the day, because we notoriously stiffen up as the day goes on in our rib cage. So you might feel looser in your joints, but in your rib cage you can get a lot stiffer. And again, as I may have mentioned before, if we're not moving in our ribcage, then we're not breathing properly. And if we're not breathing properly, we're not using our diaphragm. And if we're not using our diaphragm, we're not supporting our pelvic floor. It will probably get quite tedious in saying this, but I just want to let you know. Right. So we're lying on our side, hips are on top of each other, knees in front, heels in line with the bum. Top hand, back of the head, elbow up towards the ceiling. We're going to do a breath in. Breath out, think of the rib cage moving back. And then in breath as you bring it back. So keep thinking it's the ribs we're trying to move here. So the movements, this part here is we're opening up with that breath out. In breath as you bring it back. And the more you do of these, the more movement you'll get. And you might start thinking, oh heck, I can barely move on this side. But after a few of them, you will get a bit more movement with it. So breath out as you come over. In as you bring it back. Right, do one more here. And bring it back. Lovely. Righty ho. Everyone just wants to have a lie onto their back now. Lie on your back with your knees bent. Okay. I'm just going to run through what I call the body reset, really. So, knees are bent. We're all nice and relaxed. I'm just going to do that body check-in. So this is something I talk about a lot before you even try and do a pelvic floor contraction. This is to just relax us, really, to get us out of this fight and flight nervous system and into a rest and digest nervous system. And our pelvic floor is linked to our fight and flight system. So if you this morning I had a right old morning and I was just running on adrenaline. And I knew because I was running on adrenaline, I was in fight and flight, which would make my pelvic floor tighten. And it's with anything. If you're rushing, if you're nervous about something or anxious or whatever, your pelvic floor will tighten. So the body reset, this is what I really encourage that we do before we even try and do any pelvic floor contractions. So feet, knees and hips are in line. We're going to run through a checklist. Eyes open, eye closed, whatever feels comfortable. Is your jaw tight? Just see if you can loosen it slightly. And just make sure your teeth aren't clenched together. Make it nice and soft. Give it a bit of a wiggle if you need to. Are your neck and shoulders nice and relaxed? Think about them just kind of melting a little bit into the mat or bed or whatever, wherever you are. Just let them soften. And then what's our breath doing? Are we breathing all at the top? Or is that air going all the way down to the bottom of our lungs? Are we widening our rib cage and using our diaphragm? And we're just going to go into that 4-4 breathing pattern. So quite simply, in and out through our nose, we're going to go in for a count of 4 and out for a count of 4. And what that does is it gets our diaphragm working and it puts us into this rest and digest state. So we're going to breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And out for 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. And out. 4, 3, 2, 1. You keep going. I want to talk you through it a bit more. So we're going to do that in breath, and that air's going all the way down to the bottom of our lungs. We're going to think about it widening our rib cage outwards. We're not lifting our shoulders to breathe here. We want our ribs coming out to the side. And it might be that when we do that breath in for a count of 4, we're really struggling to get to 3 or 4. The more we do it, it means that our diaphragm's going to be working. So make sure that belly is nice and soft. Don't force that belly to move. Just let it go nice and soft. So then you start breathing with your diaphragm, belly breathing. And because we're doing this, I already know that your pelvic floors have softened. So you can even either imagine that they're moving from, I always say from your belly button, they're never that high, but just that kind of lift aspect, really. So they're going from your belly button, moving down towards your sit bones, and just relax everything. Lovely. All right then. Have a roll onto your side and a very slow sit up. Okie doke. I'm going to leave you there in terms of our class today. So, anybody have any questions, or have I all got you in a zone where you think, oh no, I just feel quite lovely right now? Which I hope you do. Okay. Well, if you do think of anything, if anything props up afterwards, just ping me a message, send me an email. It's not a problem. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that set you up for the day and you're ready to take on whatever it is that you're doing today. And in the nicest possible way, I really, really hope your bum hurts. I'm sorry, but not sorry if that happens. Right. I shall leave you to it, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye, 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 bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.